Hey guys, Ultra here. Now we're going to start work on our demon, the second part of our mural. You can remember this is the first part. There's the picture. Alright, now we're going to be concentrating on this demon here. Get a good picture of him. As you notice in this mural, we have a little problem of, I really hate it when I switch colors. You know, when I switch images and it goes to yellow, it takes a second to recalibrate. There we go. Well, we gotta work on our spacing, how we want things to line up in the mural. So, what we gotta figure out is, do we want the sword? My idea is to just put the sword like in his chest. So, we'll aim for about this area, right? Yeah, and we'll have the demon's head here and his arms. So we're gonna be cutting out most of the image, but this I think is the best move of approach. Now the first thing I want to do is the base process, which is creating a 50-50 mix of black and white, as we're doing a contrast. And once that's done and dry, I'll move on to step 2. Alright guys, so step 1 complete. And I want to talk about going a little in depth on how, when you're doing mural painting or any type of freehand, the base that you want to use. How to do it, tips to use, and things to avoid. So the first thing you're going to do obviously is use a nice big brush. Make sure it's a sable because you want an even coat when you're base coating. Tip number 2, make sure that you have a nice slightly damp mix. And the reason is you want your coating to be thin. Mainly because if you get a lot of thick coating, then it's just going to be all sloppy and cloppy and nasty, and you're not going to have a very smooth surface to work on. It's going to have ridges, it's going to have imperfections, it's going to be very, very bad. Step 3, when painting large areas that you want smooth, make sure you always pull your brush in one direction. Keep the grains the same. You don't want to cross, you don't want to hatch, you don't want to swirl, you want to go one direction. If you can see, for this one I've gone one direction here. Oh, damn, for the shadows. And the final tip is coat. Make sure it's thoroughly dry. Coat again. Make sure it's thoroughly dry. Don't recoat when you've got wet spots. Otherwise, you're going to get, you know, streak marks, ridges, places where edges of the paint have dried, but the inside of the pool hasn't. So make sure it's fully dry when you base coat each layer. All right. So now what we're going to have to do moving on is we're going to get our spacing right and a general sketching of how we want this thing to come out. Alright. Okay, so step 2 is now, well, step 3 is now complete. As you've seen, we've got a very rough outline of how we want things to line up. I have incorporated some of the effects in the original, as the bolter will be firing as well into his side as well as a sword. This is a Grey Knight for a Grey Knight army, so naturally we want the Grey Knight to be kicking some demon butt. Here's our basic outline. You can see that I've really edged out some of the main points that I want to accentuate. That's going to give the, you want, how do I put this? You want to draw the eye to certain parts to really make it have depth and dimension. So I've gone and done a lot of edging around the mouth and the head area, and where the sword will make contact into his elbow. Alright? Now don't be afraid to, you know, make a little fix here, a little fix there. This is your basic outline. This is so you get your spacings correct, and so you get everything to match up. It's okay to make little corrections here and there. It's like drawing a sketch on paper. Think about it that way. Now, we're going to, let's see, choose an area and really start getting some contrast going, making some further adjustments in spacing, and we're going to start fleshing out some shading. Alright? We're going to probably concentrate here on the contact point with the sword and work our way out, as this area is experimental and we need to get this done first. We don't want to have any surprises with this area if we start over here, you know, down the road. Alright, here we go. Okay, whew, man, my hand hurts. So, we've gone and I've chosen my flush point to be here. I figured this was going to be the most difficult part to paint. You have multiple lighting effects going on, multiple shades and contrast, so I decided to flush that point out. As you can see, it really paid off. We have a nice matchup with dimension, I may have to fix this line. It doesn't exactly have to be perfect. I mean, they're going to be on vehicles which are going to be like, you know, this far apart, so it's not a big deal, but, you know, I am a bit of a perfectionist. So, now, what have we learned? Okay. I think the hardest part about this was really getting the I've had to reformat this spacing on his forearm on the demon a couple times already from the original. There have been some things that came up as I was shading the distances, so I pretty much got it all mapped out. Now, this really will work well as I move into spacing for other areas, as I've created some really precise reference points. Alright, let's move on, and I think I'm going to start moving away, probably work on the shoulder pad, and then finally the face and torso. Alright. Okay, now a lot of work's been done. So, we've gone ahead and fleshed out our demon here. And get my trusty pointer. Well, that's the wrong color. Let's try this one. Alright, black's good. Alright. So, concentrating on the face. This has been hellish work. Mainly, I've had to move positions countless times to get this right, and it really works out well when you focus on the area like we previously did, because it starts setting up steps of positions. And one of the things I want to talk about is non-metallic metallics. I've gone ahead and experimented here on his armor plating. Now, what you can see happening is the reflected horizon in the background on his armor. The way you approach this is basically fleshing out your brightest parts of your armor first, creating a ridge of dark right next to it, and then blending that back down. That's worked out well. Moving up, we see the gemming effect on his eyes. Let's see if I can get a nice shot of that. I got shadows everywhere. That shadow. There we go. Yeah, as you can see, that little dot of white in the eye there. Alright, so basically we've gone ahead and done the hardest part of this model, of this mural here, and all we have left is the bottom torso, and we'll be totally complete. So far, guys, I am really pleased with the way this is turning out. Organic form is a lot harder than the blocky Space Marine, where reference points are really easy to come up with, but man, whew, what a journey this has been. Let's go ahead and finish this up. Okay, finally done. Finished. Finito. I hope you've all enjoyed this this tutorial, this how-to video, and this journey with me on this mural. I am personally extremely proud of it. Feel free to comment, like, and subscribe. You can find my blog at thebrushandbolter.blogspot.com, and for more information on any commission work you'd like to have done, please email me at the link below. Thank you.